Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our final Wellness Wednesday of 2020. I am Charmaine Carter, the Director of Parent Relations here at Friendship Public Charter School. And I'm very excited about today's topic. We'll be talking about managing anxiety. Before we get started, our application for next school year is open, and you can apply for us at www.mysschooldc.org if you are a prospective family and you're interested in enrolling your child into our schools. We are now accepting applications for grades pre-K 3 through 12. So let's get started. Take it away, ladies.
Hello and good evening. Happy Wednesday to everyone. I'm Dr. Soyini Richards, and I'm super excited to share with you this afternoon. And I'm joined by my doctoral intern, Miss JoJo Hickson, and she's a PsyD student, and she'll introduce herself shortly. We are going to have a discussion today about managing anxiety. We're in a very interesting season, and we have a great deal of information to share with you and help you get through this season. I am the school psychologist for Friendship Public Charter School at the Southeast Campus, and I have a lot of other hats, but that's why I'm here today, is to share with the Friendship Public Charter School community. And I would like to have Ms. JoJo have the opportunity to introduce herself.
Thanks so much, Dr. Richards. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm honored always to be here, to be gaining professional development at the hands of some beautiful Black women psychologists and friendship. And so I'm a doctoral extern at Southeast Campus, and I am a third-year clinical PsyD student at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. So I'm super excited to be here. And if Dr. Richards doesn't have anything else to say, we can jump right in. We're good to go, Dr. Richards?
Yes, awesome. Let's get started.
Okay, so we wanted to start by talking a little bit about the friendship mission, in case, we know what it is, but we don't often refer back to it. And so coming on board, I was taught that the mission of friendship was exactly as it's stated here, is to provide a world-class education, to motivate students to achieve high academic standards, to enjoy learning in the process, and to develop as ethical, literate, and well-rounded and self-sufficient citizens who contribute actively to their communities. So that's our goal, and we really like to take a holistic approach, including talking to our students about mental health. So we really do encourage our scholars as well as their parents to engage in all the sessions that we offer and all the mental health things that we offer. So keeping that in mind, the school also holds all scholars, faculty, and staff, as well as the parents that we engage with, to these core values, those being integrity, which is to be honest and fair with one another, responsibility to choose right over wrong, to have confidence knowing that you can achieve and that you are able and that you are divine in your nature, your creation, to care for others, to have a commitment to find your purpose and to stay true to that, to have patience, to have persistence, and to have respect. And so how are we going to get these scholars to engage in our mission statement and to really come from a place where they're using these core values as a compass to make their decision? We're going to do that by taking a village approach. Because as we know, or some of us know, the African proverb says that the child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. So some of the behaviors that you might be seeing from your scholars in this new setting might be because they're not being understood, they're not being heard, or they feel that way or perceive their situations to be that way. And so we really think that the village is inclusive of the teachers, the faculty and staff, the administrators, the parents, the guardians, the scholars themselves, family members, you could even include neighbors, and the psychologist or psychologist in training. So that's how our village is going to come together to make sure that our scholars are being taken care of.
Awesome job, Miss JoJo. We like to call her Miss JoJo until she is Dr. JoJo. Almost there, almost there. I want to briefly tell you my background. I have a master's in counseling psychology and a PhD in business psychology. I am a graduate of the amazing Howard University 2 times, and also of the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, like Miss JoJo. And I've been a professor of psychology for over 20 years. And one of the most important topics that I teach my students about is anxiety. Some people confuse anxiety with stress, but there is a difference. There is a difference. People who undergo stress experience mental and physical symptoms such as irritability, anger, fatigue, muscle pain, digestive troubles, and difficulty sleeping. Now, anxiety, on the other hand, is different. And we're going to talk about anxiety today and give you some tips on how to address it. And like I said earlier, we're going through a very interesting time, and this information will be helpful to help you navigate through this as well as your family and students. All right, so what is anxiety? Feeling of worry, anticipation or visualization of catastrophic events happening in the future. So what are the potential causes for anxiety?
So there are so many causes of anxiety, especially right now, given our certain circumstances within the context of this pandemic. So some of your scholars might be experiencing anxiety because they might have some fears. Those are the types of anxiety. They might have some fears about death or dying, which is very appropriate given that we are experiencing a viral pandemic. They might have some fears about their performance in school or some of the difficulties they might be having as compared to their peers. They might be having fears or worries about making or connecting with friends, especially because we have transitioned to online learning. And so as we know, when you're developing that social aspect and social piece is a really critical part in our development, and they're missing that because they're online. So they might be having some worries about making up, those connections with friends. They also might be concerned about the safety of themselves or others due to community violence, or even again, within the context of this pandemic, which also falls under health concerns. They might be concerned about finances or other social concerns, as well as trying to be perfect. So those are some of the concerns that your students might be having anxiety about.
Yes. And if we can go to the types of anxiety. Okay, there's generalized anxiety, social phobia, panic, separation, and acrophobia. Now you might say, oh, wow, Dr. Richards, what are you referring to? There, again, these are examples of 5 different types of anxiety. And as you can see here, they're actually very broad and can have an array of different symptoms that we want to talk to you about. And again, we're going to offer you some solutions. All right. Are we getting through? Okay. So what might your child do if they have anxiety? Here are some of the symptoms. And this is, you see, this is a long list, but they are just some. There's also others beyond this list. Increased irritability, bedwetting, tics. What I mean by tics, these are behaviors such as hair pulling, skin picking, nail biting, hyperactivity, isolation, trouble sleeping, overeating, self-medicating, easily tired, trouble paying attention, muscle aches, sweating a lot, increased heart rate, angry outburst, avoidance, and hypersexualization, and lastly, depression. Again, this is an extensive list, but there are several other symptoms as well too. And we encourage you to pay attention to your circle, pay attention to your children and yourselves as well too, and see if you're experiencing some of these things. And at times, unfortunately, you might experience multiple symptoms as well too. So how can you help? Well, here we go. How can you help? Connecting with your child. Having a talk, helping them to realize that this is not abnormal, these feelings are not abnormal, and that you can relate, maybe sharing some of your experiences, and researching and identifying ways that you all can cope. Modeling healthy responses, Yes, parents, we do have to be models for our children. They are watching us, they are absorbing things that we're doing. They are looking for our reactions and feeding off of that. So we have to model healthy responses. And you listening to this information today is actually a great step in that direction. Then assessing the situation. We've given you the different symptoms, we've given you the definition for anxiety, and just observing any differences that you see, dramatic differences, sudden changes. These are examples of assessing the situation. And also there's help out there. There's questions and resources, and we're going to offer some resources later in this presentation as well too. And then lastly, I missed one, Miss Jojo. Connecting with others. This is really important in our community. As Ms. Jojo introduced earlier, we are a village. There are resources and people out there. We know that we can go to certain people and they help us to feel better. They know what to say. We know who to call or who to avoid when we're in certain anxious situations. But connecting with each other is helpful. And we know that we're in the middle of a pandemic and we have certain restrictions to be cautious, but there are ways to use technology or just writing a letter. I have written more letters and sent more cards out during this pandemic than I have in a long time. And I know I feel warm and fuzzy when I receive cards in the mail as well too. Yes, send a letter, send an email, send a text, but connecting. There's so many different ways to connect, so many different apps now beyond Zoom like this, and social media, there's House Party, and various ways that we can still connect. All right. Now, I want to give you a quick activity. And Ms. Jojo, if you can help me walk through this activity, that'll be really helpful. If you see the picture in front of us right now in the PowerPoint, this says the things I can control. This is what we call the circle of control. And there's a large circle. And in the middle of that circle are all the things that we can control. Being kind, we can control our own behavior, our goals, our efforts, taking care of ourselves. Self-care is really important, and who our friends are, and asking for help. To reduce anxiety, we have to keep things in perspective. We have to identify what we can control and what we can't control, and what we can influence and what we cannot influence. So looking at the list outside the circle, these are things that we can't control. We don't have any influence over what others say, the weather, being sick, things that I have to do, past mistakes, what others think, and then lastly, others being kind. These are things outside of our influence. But if you take a few moments of your day, and I'm encouraging you either now while we're talking or after this webinar, make a circle and put the items inside that you can control, things that are under your influence. And then outside the circle, write down things you cannot. The pandemic, different circumstances, the weather today, put those things outside. And I encourage you afterwards to number them, and you'll see that there are more things inside the circle that we do have influence over than outside.
So we wanted to offer a couple of tips. Dr. Richards wanted to talk a little bit about these that we came up with.
Okay. Ms. Jojo, you want to take the first block?
Certainly. So as a Black child, or I used to be a Black child, these are some things that I value interacting with some of the people in my community, including my mom and my stepdad. And I really appreciated being talked with and not to. So talking to your child and trying to connect them and meet them where they are, and not reprimanding them for things that you might not understand or things that they feel are out of their control. So really trying to validate their experience and provide evidence for what they might be experiencing or thinking about, and then encouraging them to ask questions themselves to see if their anxiety is founded or if they actually have a reason to be anxious. And then lastly, on this first Black is to foster an ethnic identity, meaning that most of our students at Friendship are Black students. And that means that they do have a very different experience from students of different backgrounds because of who we are and because of the other things going on in the climate. So just talking about what's going on to your child and validating their experience and what's going on. That's
awesome. Yes, those are awesome. And the next block we have next to those beautiful little girls, listening to music together and sharing the experience. Music has so many memories. I encourage my clients all the time to have a playlist, their happy playlists, and literally include songs to just change your mood and make you happy. And sharing those experiences with children, your children can be invaluable. I remember different songs that my father told me that he enjoyed, that he likes. And I even have on my iPhone, my dad's playlist. And so those songs remind me of him. Dancing, singing, and playing, yes. Whether you can dance or not, whether you can sing or not, to just get in the mood, get in that realm, that Zen mood to just dance, sing, and play. I remember Saturday nights, my daughter and I would just dance before we watch our favorite TV show when we'd come in from the day, and just be silly again. And sharing that experience with your children can definitely send those anxiety levels to a different level. Playing a game, board games, a puzzle together. During isolation, that was a big thing where families were coming together again, breaking open the Monopoly and putting puzzles together. And if you have a smaller family, you can still play these games. House Party, you can play games on that app. But dancing, singing, playing, I hope that you're getting that anxiety can be changed by your activity, an activity that you are doing. Facilitating connection with friends. As the previous slide mentioned, connecting with others. I have a regular happy hour once a month with my friends, and just knowing that that's coming up, keeping those connections will actually change your mood, regulate your thoughts, and connections with others, and helps us get out of our own space and what's going on with us. And then lastly, practicing mindfulness and yoga. If you haven't tried it before, please research it and Google it and try it now. Ms. Jojo, have you found practicing mindfulness and yoga beneficial?
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I try to keep it real with the scholars that I engage with. I tell them all the time, I'm a student too. So I understand that it's been super annoying to be on camera for hours in class and to have to do assignments and to get motivated. So some parents watching this might think like, this is stuff that we do regularly, like with our kids, like how's this gonna help my kid with anxiety? But like, I just wanted to reiterate what Dr. Richards said, and that in engaging in this stuff, it will have an effect on your child's body, by way of calming them down, and they might feel more comfortable sharing what they're going through or talking about or assessing the situation.
Yes, yes. Okay, well, our last tip is a big tip and very dear to me, very dear to me. And Ms. Jojo came up with a list, and I would like to introduce you to these lists. This is affirming certain words and a belief system and a situation over your child. And I dare you to say yourself, use some of these for yourself. Is just speak over your scholar. My scholar is bright. My scholar is authentic. My scholar is one of a kind. My scholar is talented. And say this to them with authority and feeling and emotion and expression, and continually. It may seem a little weird at first, but it's definitely very powerful. It changes the mood. If you don't believe me, think about how you can walk into a room where someone had an argument before you walked in there, and you can feel the difference. You can sense that something was going on in there. Words are really powerful. Speak over your scholars. My scholar is informed. My scholar is resilient. My scholar is confident. My scholar is mine. These things are so warm and fuzzy to say. And again, say them over yourself too. I am funny. I am bright. I am unique. I am daring. I'm caring, and I'm divine. Speak these things over your family, yourself. It will change the state that you're in. Anxiety is a state. You heard the definition earlier. You can change it. Words change things. So as we're moving on, Ms. Georgia, did you have something to add regarding these statements or affirmation?
Talk about our next
Okay, you ready? Okay.
Sorry. Me and Dr. Richards are so much alike. We often, I try to like talk over sometimes because, sorry, Dr. Richards.
Oh, no worries. Doing awesome.
But so we wanted to offer some resources. We were going to do a Q&A, and I'm not sure if we have time for that. So we're just going to cut straight to the resources. So of course, our biggest resource is ourselves. We're all we got, especially within the Black community. So we need to lean in, we need to tap in. Dr. Richards and Dr. Millette, who are my supervisors, are amazing resources. I use them all the time and I often feel guilty because anytime I need something, I'm always emailing them or calling them or texting them. So definitely lean in. They are here, they're passionate, and they want to do the best for your family and your scholars, as well as the other amazing staff here. We also want to offer the resources of the Association of Black Psychologists. They have a very comprehensive list of therapists and clinicians who can work with your scholar on a specific topic of their interest or problem area. So if you want to check that out. Psychology Today also has some interesting, like what we call psychoeducation, and that is like articles and information about what you might be witnessing in your child. We also wanted to offer the Calm app. It's something that you could do right on your phone. You can download it if you have Google Play or even the Apple Store, and it'll pop right up with some prompts as far as mindfulness or breathing exercises. And then on the right side are just some hotlines that you can call if you feel like your scholar might not feel comfortable talking to you or other people. Just offer them these numbers and they might be emboldened to seek these resources for themselves. So the National Prevention Line, the substance abuse and mental health services, as we said, substance abuse or self-medicating might be a symptom of anxiety. If your child might have a different sexual orientation other than heterosexual, this is a good resource for them. And then these other ones are also amazing as well.
Thank you. Psychology Today also can be used for resources to find therapists as well too, like Association of Black Psychologists. And they have a profile for each practitioner, and you can read about their specialty. You can actually see their pictures. I'm an advocate to tell you that you should advocate for yourself and choose a practitioner you're comfortable with, and ask questions. It's okay to ask what's the practitioner's ethnicity. If you're calling a pediatrician, a dentist, it's okay to ask if they're a male or female. It's okay to ask how long they've been in practice. You advocate for yourself. But thank you for sharing these resources. And I think we're using the chat to see if there's any questions, but like Ms. Georgia said, our information is there. You can email us, reach out, and we'd be happy to follow up with you.
Yes, and if you are a friendship parent, there are so many resources. Definitely take note of their information. And then you can also visit our website. We have a resource page for our parents at friendshipschools.org. Tons and tons of resources. And then our schools also offer our wellness days. So we've been sticking with Wellness Wednesdays, but some schools have different things. But be sure to go to our website to find out what your school has specifically for your campus. And don't be afraid to reach out for help. This is something that we all are going through. And during our Wellness Wednesdays, we've always talked about it. You know, it's okay if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're stressed, it's okay to ask for help. And so we here at Friendship Schools, we're here to offer support, and we have our staff here. They've listed their contact information. You can go to our website, and then you can also email us at wecare@friendshipschools.org, or you can call our hotline at 202-281-1777. Thank you so much for this presentation. This has been so awesome. I also wanted to make note that if you are watching the replay, please share this with anyone, any family that you know is maybe dealing with anxiety. And then also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We upload all of the videos that we do for our families on our YouTube page. So if you follow us at Friendship Public Charter School, you'll be able to watch the replays that we've had all of 2020. So be sure to do that. And like our Facebook page and all social media handles, Friendship Public Charter School. All right, everyone, have a great evening. I hope that you stay safe. I hope that you stay well. And I look forward to joining you next time. Good night.
Thank you.